The lives of 48 million children under the age of 5 have been saved since the year 2000, when governments committed to achieving the Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs. This was highlighted in a new report released this week by the UN Children's Fund, UNICEF. It shows that the rate of decline in mortality among the world's youngest children has more than doubled over a generation. But this is not enough to meet the MDG of a 2/3 reduction in child mortality around the world by the end of 2015. UNICEF reports that 16,000 children under 5 still die every day, and a child's chance of survival is still vastly different based on where he or she is born. Leading causes of under 5 deaths are mostly preventable and include undernutrition, prematurity, pneumonia, and complications during labor and delivery. The UN says an additional 38 million lives could be saved by 2030 if progress accelerates further, in line with the Sustainable Development Goals world leaders are set to approve later this month. As thousands of refugees and migrants continue to arrive in Europe, UN officials renewed their call on states to find responsible and humane solutions to the growing influx. Peter Sutherland, the UN's top official on migration, highlighted the need for a common approach to the crisis and stressed that refugees should always be treated as human beings first and foremost.
We need to put in place a system where they are dealt with humanity. Many of them leaving under dire conditions which fall short of persecution. Many of them having skills that we need on this continent, which is a dying continent. Germany has the lowest birth rate in the world. Italy, Spain, all over Europe, there's actually a huge demand for, and will be in time to come, for people.
The UN Refugee Agency, or UNHCR, cautioned that it is not just the responsibility of one country, but of all European countries to help those fleeing conflict.
We need more and more countries to say that they will participate in a relocation scheme. We think that the Europe crisis can only be managed if there are reception, registration centers established in these receiving countries like Greece and Italy and Hungary, run by the EU, supported by UNHCR and IOM. And those can only work if there is a guaranteed relocation system whereby European countries are saying, yes, I will take X number.
Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon continued to confer with European leaders on what has become the biggest influx of people into the continent in decades, appealing to them to quickly find a joint approach to address the needs of the new arrivals. The United Nations reported a disturbing increase in the number of civilian casualties over the past 3 months as a result of the ongoing fighting in eastern Ukraine. According to the latest report by the UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine, the number of civilian casualties more than doubled during the period between 16 May and 15 August compared to the previous 3 months. In total, close to 8,000 people have lost their lives in eastern Ukraine since the conflict began in mid-April 2014. Gianni Magazzini from the UN Human Rights Office highlighted the dire situation facing many people.
What happens on the ground is that you may, within your own apartment, be faced with people coming in, taking out your son, your daughter, your wife, or yourself, and ending up in detention for several months, if not tortured and executed. So this is a very dramatic situation.
The UN stressed that more needs to be done to protect civilians and put an end to the hostilities, in accordance with a ceasefire agreement signed earlier this year.